Next up, Grant. The NBA MVP race is already over because OG Anunoby has won it. No, because Nikola Jokic has won it. This man is unbelievable. He has won 3 MVPs, and you get to a point, and I think we've reached it with Giannis where, okay, on certain nights, like when he drops 59 against the Pistons, it's, he can still surprise you. Mm-hmm. But you look at it and you say, like, you're numb to a lot of what happens. And then yet with Nikola Jokic, there's just like, you can't get numb to him because he's doing something every night that is so utterly ridiculous. And I put this on Blue Sky the other day, has anyone ever in the same season won the scoring title, the rebounding title, and the assist title? I'm asking for Nikola Jokic. This dude leads the league in rebounds and assists, and he's like 3rd or 4th in scoring. And even as some of the Nuggets, his kids have upticked, the Nuggets are still just more dependent on him than ever. He's logged 39 minutes or more 5 times this year, Grant. Do you know how many of those games he had last year? All of last year, 7. This dude is an Iron Man. This is someone who's had deep playoff runs. They won the title not last year, but the year before. He was carrying a team when Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. were missing time. Now he just carries the team even when Jamal Murray's available, apparently. And you're just looking at what he's doing. He's hitting his threes at an astronomical clip. His 2-point percentage is dipped. Hey, but guess what, Grant? That still means he's shooting north of 55% on them. I look at him, and we love the net rating swings. You could filter it by playing time. I don't care. Context. Nikola Jokic just leads it. The Nuggets are about 30 points per 100 possessions worse when he's off the court. There is this belief that we've reached the point of voter fatigue with Nikola Jokic. And if you feel that way after watching the first part of the season, I really hope you do not have a vote, because there is no one else that you could make it. If the Bucks were good, I think Giannis on an individual level probably comes closest to having a case. I think you could throw Shea in there. Kevin Durant, I thought, had a very strong case before he was going to miss some time with a calf strain. I'm sure maybe he'll creep back in there. But, like, this is fucking wild. This is someone who is the Nuggets are not, I don't feel the record in all. I don't want to say I feel worse about the Nuggets than ever. I will say they feel less convincing than they did a couple seasons ago. Maybe that's my bias against young players. Yes, I know Christian Brown might get most improved player votes, yada, 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 fun. But like, he is literally the one-man difference separating a championship contender from probably one of the worst teams of all time. And I don't think there's another player in the league that you can even come close to saying that about right now.
I would flip it the other way and say, like, make the argument against him, right? Like, what possible case could you make against Jokic today, right now, and we're projecting forward several months, just being the best player in the league and therefore deserving of MVP? Like, you can pick nits with every other candidate. I mean, Anthony Davis is a name we both have talked about early in the season as a candidate. Great. Like,
hate him.
You can't find anybody that has, and these are the 2 prongs of the MVP case. Like, how much we're trying to figure out what valuable means. How much do you mean to your team? Nobody means more than Jokic. And then if it's just show me the box score, nobody's better than Jokic. So just like, you can knock, Luka's not making shots, the defense is still iffy, whatever. I guess you'd say, Jokic's defense is still, break even at best or whatever.
I might even say it's better than that. I would go as far as to say I think it's been substantially better than that.
Right. No, I'm playing devil's advocate. Like, okay. I'm trying to imagine the arguments that you would make against him being the MVP. I think the thing we just aren't, the voter fatigue thing is real. It sucks. I think in hindsight, it might feel like a mistake that he didn't win it 2 years ago and that we're not talking about a potential 5 straight MVPs for him. That he's the MVP if he stays healthy. And that's the other thing. Like, we're less concerned about him getting hurt than knocking on everything right now, than literally any other candidate. So it's just like, I don't know what the odds are, but it's like a Jokic or the field at this point. And I was like, I just took the field in the rookie of the year thing. I just think I would pick Jokic. I just don't see anybody else that has anything close to the same chance as him.
So I guess I'm with you, and I don't mean to declare it already over when the Nuggets are whatever 10 games into their season, but for someone to catch him, what needs to happen? And let's not throw injuries out there. Is it like so? The Nuggets are 4th in the West right now as we record this. If they drop off of that, but it's not necessarily hit, like the numbers are still incredible. Does he have the ability to win it if they're like 6th or 7th in the West? If they fall that far, which by the way, this is part of his MVP case. Right now, they haven't almost entirely because of him.
That is how he could lose it. And it would be bullshit because there's no argument that if the Nuggets are underwhelming, they're a 500 team the rest of the way or whatever, and they don't finish like they're 7th in the West, 8th in the West, which is below. It's like the Westbrook line. Like, how, what were the Thunder 6th the year he won the MVP? Like that's kind of that seemed like, oh my God, but the numbers seemed undeniable at the time. I still don't think he was the MVP that year. That's another conversation. You won't be able to make the case that the Nuggets struggling has anything to do with Jokic. What you'll be able to say is like, well, they would have won 20 games this year without him. Like that they won 41 is incredible. Like that he got them 20 plus win. So yeah, I think that'd be the case you'd make is if the Nuggets just aren't good enough as a team. We all care about team performance and determining value of an individual player. But there's not going to be a connecting line between the Nuggets underperforming as a team and Jokic. Like, it'll be the opposite. It'll be like, it's incredible they were this good, and he's the only reason why.
As someone who was skeptical over the Nuggets this season, I just can't, and even I'm never skeptical about Nikola Jokic, but wondering what their ceiling could be even with peak Nikola Jokic, and their ceiling might just be winning a title if he's going to be this good.
Yeah.
And I know they still had their issues. They're going to need more from a healthy Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr., he's come around, but like you're gonna need him to be more consistent on the defensive end. Aaron Gordon needs to get help. But like even the anecdotal stuff is being set up for him to win the award because it's like just throw the numbers out of the equation. Now Aaron Gordon has missed time. Jamal Murray is banged up and he's continued to be uneven. And yes, okay, some of the kids, especially Christian Brown, are playing extremely well. And like you've gotten some really good traction out of Julian Strother, and Peyton Watson's even shooting 39% of his hitting 39% of his threes, But you look at it and you say, oh, so the Nuggets are relying on 3. Christian Brown is probably more of someone who is a known quantity, but you're relying on a lot of people, including Westbrook and even some Hunter Tyson. And by the way, your backup center rotation is still dog shit because for some reason we gave Dario Saric the mini MLE, since apparently we just give that out like candy so that we can trade a bunch of picks to wash it off later. Picks that they currently do not have. I digress on that though, but it's all setting up to where I just rattled off a bunch of reasons without going into them on why things could have just gone so wrong for the Nuggets. And there would have just been built-in excuses and the blame would have fallen on maybe Michael Malone, but probably Calvin Booth more than anyone, or the ownership, whatever. Right. And it's just like, no, you're winning in spite of this. Jokic is dominating and you have a better record than teams that a lot of people thought were just like Minnesota, Dallas. They're struggling out of the gate. And again, the Nuggets haven't been perfect, but they've won games. And Nikola Jokic is just like the fact that he might average over 30 points per game, or is because the players averaging more than him right now are Giannis, Anthony Davis, and LaMelo Ball. And that's it. And it's just, we know Jokic can score. He's one of the most, by the way, over the past half decade, if you view it in some, I'm not sure there's been a player who's just more clutch. Like when you look at actual crunch time numbers than him too.
He has the most clutch points this year. He's number 1 in clutch points this year. So like if you're talking about like who impacts winning, that was a lot of the Russ case years ago. Is like, look at his clutch. Like he won them 5 or 6 games down the stretch. Like
including in Denver. Do you remember that shot? That was like wasn't the framing the night the MVP race was over?
Right.
Westbrook get that shot.
I think last thing, it's just Jokic, and this isn't, I don't know if this is like a conventional way to make the MVP case, but it appeals to me. Like he just sets your team's floor so much higher than everybody else does, right? Because like it doesn't, to a greater extent than any other player, it doesn't matter who his teammates are. If he's playing, you just have a chance to win because he can just completely control the game in ways that no one else can. And like, obviously look at the Bucks have Giannis. This is a low floor right now. As good as he's been, he just doesn't make everybody else the best version of themselves like Jokic does. He's not the world's like comfiest safety blanket like Jokic is. It's just you can't be bad if he's out there. And that's not true of anybody else.
And it feels such like a blasphemous thing to say in the vacuum, but I'm going fact here for a third consecutive.
Yeah.
The MVP race to me is just is over. And you're gonna have to. I need you to outline the case. Oh, I would say I don't ascribe to this case, but if you are someone who has just always gone with the best player on the best team, that is the only thing that can undermine Jokic's case at this point. Because again, I don't agree with it, but if that's just how you view MVP, okay, fine. Well, then it's gonna go to Shea at that point, or it's gonna go to Darius.
I'd say congrats Darius Garland MVP if you're a best player.
Spoilers, that would be an interesting discussion to have, though, if there was just like, well, actually, we might be having it soon. So I'm going to go fact here. You're going fact as well?
Yeah, got to.